which is 0.6 hectares, which is 1.6 acres. 10 acres, we have the land titles in the names of LDC. 6 acres, 7 acres, this land was acquired by government. So we have two owners now. We have the land commission, we have the minor interest. We have the lease land titles. But of recent, they communicated that they want to hand over even the minor interest to LDC. So it's not true that we don't have titles. We do have titles. All the land has titles. The reason why we have delayed to have title for 0.067, we were sued by the family of the late Stanley Chitaka, I think that's the name, Chisenjiri Chitaka, in 2019, and the case was dismissed in 2024 by Justice C. Nabakoza. Then we had another case on the same piece of land by Kaduz, and the same case was dismissed in 2022 by Justice C. Forgetting the judge, but the same case was also dismissed with costs. Then we have another matter of Azias Mwangala. Azias Mwangala came to LDC in 2018, claiming 800 million for the 2 plots. That is where the court is seated, where the LDC court is seated. That is plot 450 and 451, those 2 plots. We managed to have engagement with Minister of Finance for the records of 1975 and the chief government valuer. It took us about a full year to get those records from the archives. I'm happy to inform you that we have the records. Actually, the previous government paid those people, and that's the reason why we have won all those cases. Justice Madrama, the one who handled the matter for Post Bank and LDC, and Azias Mwangala. Azias Mwangala are demortgaged where the court is with Post Bank. We went to court, challenged the decision to attach the property. Successfully, Justice Madrama advised Post Bank to attach other properties that belong to Azias Mwangala. Reason being that we brought proof from Minister of Finance that actually those 2 plots were fully paid, and even I do have the proof with me here. So we only pending one matter at LDC of Dan Selfusa. That title, the land is fully covered off by the fence. It is within the LDC, it's fully protected. However, the land title still pending because Dan Selfusa won a case against LDC and is still demanding 600 million, around 650 million shillings, which we need to pay. That property was mortgaged in Tropical Bank, no, Kailo Bank. We wrote to Kailo Bank. The mortgage was cancelled. The title is pending to be transferred into the names of LDC as soon as that man has been paid. That's what we have at the center, where the center is seated. We don't have any query or any land title. All the land is fully protected. We are now finalizing with that 1.6 acres that had cases that have just ended. So we want to have those titles also cancelled and transfer the same into the names of LDC. Then the issue of Bukoto. Bukoto is different because Bukoto land was not acquired by government. Bukoto land was actually bought by LDC in 1995. That land was empty in 1995. However, because of the delay of visiting the property, people encroached onto that property. We had discussions in 2019, before COVID, with the sitting tenants. I can call them sitting tenants. Yes, the law is very clear, we can evict them, but in the politics in this country, we cannot just evict those people. We managed to convince them, the area authorities, Mr. Balimwezo, if he was here, is among the people who came to Bukoto, made a lot of noise, and we had to convince people that we can only compensate the structures. We cannot compensate the land because the land does not belong to you, and the people consented. We made a report to the director, and we thought that Minister of Finance would have authorized, released the money for people to leave. However, up to date, people have not been paid. Of recent, the current management at LDC summoned us on the same issue. We appeared, we explained to them, they gave us instructions again to engage the people at Bukoto. Bukoto is 4 acres of land. We have the land titles, earning company, but only people who encroached onto the property that we need to deal with. We are working with the police to have the evaluations done again so that we can compensate them to leave. I think we shall have vacant land for LDC.
Insinuated you've taken a decision to sell off.
I beg your pardon?
He insinuated you've taken a decision to sell.
In 2012, the director by then, no, 2008, director that by then was Mr. Wante. He engaged the committee of that time. They engaged Mr. Munyokol, Council Munyokol. They went onto the ground because the atmosphere on the ground was very dangerous and very hostile. Mr. Munyokol advised that that property should be disposed of the way it is. When we came in with instruction from Mr. Othembi, we engaged the people on the ground. It is true the land, the entire 4 acres are fully occupied by tenants. We convinced them that the land does not belong to you. They agreed. We went on to convince them that we can only compensate the structures. However, since we submitted the report, we have not got any feedback from Mr. Finance.
So the decision to sell, is it still standing or not standing? That's the big.
It is, the director can't.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Given that history, there's a new management of selling it because we don't think
you
we'll
are
ever
selling a 4 acres in Bukoto now. I don't think it's
about 5 acres.
5. I don't think they're going price.
I confirm there are 4 acres of land.
Okay. The going price, by that time it was 5 billion. Like I said, now it must be 10 billion.
I'm not so sure. It seems bigger than that.
We do have, we have written to the Chief Government Valuer.
But what we are, the reasoning, you need to compensate by then 300. Even if you had to factor in a double figure, it will be about billion, 600
maybe, yes.
Even if it came to a billion, you still have 9 billion. So why are you choosing to sell? Other than you pressing government to give you 600 million and people vacate the land.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, I don't know whether it was acquired. Why did you acquire the land? Did you need it in the first place? And if so, and I believe you had a reason why that land was acquired by you, why are you simply giving it up? That somebody who was merely a caretaker decided to allow squatters to come and occupy the land. What did he pass over to them for them to claim ownership now? What did he pass over to them? A squatter remains a squatter. And can we also know when they started squatting on this land? Because that's also important. And what developments are on the land? Do you have an estates manager? If this person has been in office, what was his duty and responsibility? Was it not to ensure that on a weekly or so basis, he checks on this land? If this was not negligence, because somebody, if I have a piece of land, I will definitely know that somebody has come and I tell you, please, this is my land, get off. But for you to allow all these squatters to come on, I hope it was not with the knowledge of somebody. So did you have an estates manager or who was responsible? Secondly, when did these people start squatting on this land? What developments are on this land? If you have a legal title, I don't see why these people cannot be evicted. You know, this is only in Uganda where we have government, you know, sometimes handling people with kid gloves. That's why there's a lot of impunity in this country. I just watched a video this morning, Chair, of a man who owns 10 acres of land, I think in Bukoto. And people came, evicted this man, put down his structure where he has lived for the last 30 years with his children. Now, if that is happening, and these were the people who evicted him, were accompanied by some security people. Now, if individuals can do that, what about the government? The impunity must end. If somebody has come and occupied government land illegally, the person must be evicted. Unless they occupied it before the 1995, the coming into force of the 1995.
But Honorable Sir, before you lose the point, you asked a very decision to acquire this land. 2, did you acquire it when it was encumbrance free?
Yes.
By the time you acquired, that is in 1990 what?
1995, the land was totally vacant.
1995, the land was totally vacant, 100%.
Yeah.
Then you acquired it for what purpose?
We don't know, because by the time I became director in 2012, that was 17 years later. I became director 17 years after that land was acquired. Even the people who had acquired, who bought the land had all gone, and there's no proper record. So we just knew it was LDC's property. Yeah.
Question. Do you really need that land?
My opinion would be no, but it's a question now for LDC.
Do you really need that land?
I think the first thing is to compensate these people. Like the chair say, even if it's $1 billion, compensate them, and then take the LDC can proceed with the work.
No, already, Chair,
But
there is,
I don't know if we need it.
there is
really.
a decision, because even at that time, we've been there, we've studied there. Was the property being, did you have a lot of money at that time that you were trying to keep money in an asset called land? Were there plans to expand the LDC to that area of Bukoto? But Chair, I think I'm not so sure whether the people who were responsible for this are all dead. I think somebody should be able to explain. And we should not let anybody go off the hook in as far as this matter is concerned. Number one, the leadership then. Number two, how somebody should have slept on the job to let people illegally encroach on land. How could this have happened? How could somebody have acquiesced to such an illegality? How do you explain that in terms of somebody should have committed a fraud on the public, somebody should have been negligent, and Chair, it is those people now who should be asking. But also, Dr. Thembi, it is not fair for you to tell the committee that I don't know why the land was acquired. I don't think you are being very fair to the committee. As an accounting officer then, and even the current accounting officer, you have a duty to understand your properties, where they are, why they were acquired. When you come to an accountability committee and you say, I actually don't know why we acquired that land, with due respect, you are not being fair to us, you are not being fair to even yourself.
Yes.
So I would also be right to say you actually slept on the job. Maybe perhaps decisions could have been taken earlier at that time. But you see, Chair, it also raises a bigger issue. And it's the tragedy we find ourselves as a country, that politics supersedes the law. And we live in realities. I was joking with my friend here. You will not evict those people.
You will not.
It is practically impossible. You are going to get 1 million court orders. They will not be cleared by the legal department of police. They will not be cleared by the RPC. They will not be cleared by the DPC. If the RDC and the DPC clear them, State House something will come up and also issue its own orders that override decisions of court. So Chair, when a decision is taken to engage, I'm not so sure whether they are squatters or tenants or what. I don't know how best to describe them. I don't know. It's a practical decision because of the country we are living in, where politics is more powerful than the law.
We need to take some decisions. Time. First of all, the question of selling, I don't think it's prudent. But Chair, before selling, Chair, you have what? Let's.
Chair,
Yes.
Miss Honorable Basaira is very right on the issue of reality in this country. Mere opening boundary in that property, we had to go to court. We could not just go to the ground. We went to the ground, we were chased away. We went to court, got a court order, just to open boundaries in that area. To convince the RDC, the DISO, the MP in that area, it was very difficult. So, meaning that if we sit here and discuss that properly, we can evict those people, we are joking. We cannot. Trust me. Secondly, when you look at the...
Can I know from you, who are these people that you are talking about? I asked what kind of developments are on this property.
Yes, we engaged in 2019. We engaged the evaluator. We opened boundaries, identified each and every person onto that piece of land. We have 186 people. We have 186 structures. People are sleeping in those areas, in those structures, as we talk. Permanent and semi-permanent. Recently, after receiving instructions again on the same issue from the current director, we have engaged the government valuer to go into the ground and revalue the entire land, the cost of the value of the land and the structures on the land. I'm telling you, it's not as simple as just mentioning people should leave. Even when we get court orders, it will not be easy for us.
Chair,
It's in the middle of the city.
Let me ask you, in this country, you are saying LDCs, the pinnacle of law. You know, understand how scandalous you sound. That LDCs that teaches not only graduates of law, okay? And it creams off the best of the what? Of the best. Is on the verge of losing a property because of unlawful occupants of their property, and they are choosing to give up. What will my mother do? Who is less empowered than you? And you have all the benefits that accrue with who you are. Actually, you've taught these judges that make these decisions. They passed through you. When you came here as one said, I was there. Now that you are here, saying, oh, the man judge says, now, is the one going to buy, going to keep squatters there? Because the one who will buy will have capacity to evict these squatters. So what are you lacking? Because you see, the moment you are taking a decision to sell, to me, is that I've made it and you are going to sell on the cheap. Because everyone is going to tell you they are squatters. So it's going to be given away on a giveaway price. A property of 10 billion, you are going to sell it at 1 billion. And somebody out there will say, for me, Binandu Chanchimize, will take it up. And goes, organizes 1 billion, compensates those peasants, and claims off a property with a net of straight away of 8 billion. Now, what kind of math is, because how much are you going to say with the way, how panicky you are? You are simply saying, let us get off this damn thing here. Those people are so powerful. That's the mentality I see in you. is that we better quit Jaco. So, and it is LDC, Law Development what? Center. With everything, you've taught the Attorney General, you've taught everybody in this land, you have a lot of leverage. As an institution, you are giving up and throwing away 80 billion to some, and I'm not so sure in Bukoto, 4 acres now go for 10 billion. No. Around Bukoto, that cannot be a real value. Around Bukoto, around where Kabira Club is, this hotel here, and you're saying 1 acre is approximately 2 billion, I'm not so sure of the land value in that area. Because if you go as far as Kitikutwe and where? Those where? So yes?
Chair, through you, can we also confirm whether some of these people are not squatters on that land? Because you see, given what is happening, you may discover that these are the very same people who, after acquiring the land, they are the ones who, you know how government properties and institutions work. You might find that the squatters are here in their ties and suits.
All the former people who are on those boards, because they bought an incumbency free property,
yes,
LDC, and allowed people over time to go and squat on the LDC, because people are simply hearing that this land is for Makerere. They want to run away from it.
But Chair, can we get a list of the squatters?
Chair.
Yes. Can they, Chair, can you, through you, Chair, can you direct the accounting officer to avail a list of the squatters on that piece of land so that we know who they are?
And we send it to CID.
Yes.
To do a thorough investigation of who these squatters are. And they give us, we engage an investigative agency. I think this is, we engage an investigative agency to go down and investigate, give us the particulars and details of who the squatters are and how they came about.
But Chair, have they also ever reported, reported to police cases of criminal trespass? Is there a record that you went to police and reported? Because what you are describing, that even opening boundaries, even attempting to be seen near there is chaos. You know that is a criminal counsel. Can you avail to this committee the reference where you are complaining to police cases of criminal trespass? How many have been arrested? How many have been prosecuted? Chair, perhaps if these guys had been taken to court and prosecuted, perhaps they would not be there. Some would be in prison. But if you're also looking at them acquiescing to the criminality, then you are stopped from complaining.
But when you are raising issues, one, now that the decision even for acquiring is unclear, then you acquired for no purpose and all of a sudden they are occupants. Who are members of the board at that time? You are the management board.
Yes, there was.
Management committee that took that decision. It's not so long ago. That is
30 years ago.
No, 30 years. Somebody has been occupying some office for 40 years. So it's not, and it's still going strong. Yeah, and it's not about to give up. So it's not a long time in Uganda's context. Somebody somewhere, but for another day. So 30 years in Uganda's time clock is not a long time.
We can.
Can you avail who the directors were then, members of the board? Who are, because you will find out that relatives of members of the boards are the ones quoting. And now they are telling who was the caretaker. Because that is also another issue, is that you bought land and you gave it to a caretaker. And what were the terms? Who was the caretaker? Sir, who was the caretaker?
What is that of acquiring the caretaker?
Chair, and what action have they taken against that caretaker? Because I remember the accounting officer said that the caretaker gave out.
Again, as we said, I think we really need to get the whole, all these questions that are being raised, we need to get the comprehensive record, because a lot of the information is now just historical knowledge, you know, where you ask somebody what is the position here, say, oh, there was a caretaker. But we need to get the documentation of what exactly happened and how that land was.
So you are even saying you don't know the caretaker?
No, Chair.
Eh?
Chair.
Therefore, you are even saying you don't know who the caretaker. In many words, the way I understand you are now saying you don't know the caretaker.
Yes, in not very many words.
Chair, let me say something. Those tenants are going to get more hostile. But it is also important, Chair, that by the time this land was acquired, there was a strategic direction for the intention of acquisition of this land, which must be in your archives. Chair, doctors told us of 300 million that they were pursuing to get out these people. I have gone back to the statement of outstanding commitments. You know, we must be factual. We want to trace where this 300 million was part of your budget, but it remained as an unfunded priority. As an unfunded priority. Such that we are able to see that you're pushing. And maybe if you're even very smart, we have had accounting officers who have come here and they put a strong face that I had to get out these 300 to put there and for purposes of saving this land. And the chairs have considered and said maybe you're genuine in what you're doing. But your efforts, we want to trace your efforts.
Instead to say it remains a diversion, but a justified
a genuine
it is
diversion.
illegal, okay? When you look at the Public Finance Management Act, yes, what is your budget? Your total budget?
What is it? About 300? About 45.
But about,
billion.
let me ask you really, about 45 billion. And I'm not saying it's low. That good board of yours cannot direct. It's a diversion. I mean, as the chair here, I will never justify a diversion or a mischarge. Okay? But have every single accounting officer, they come here with diversions. And we are yet to have a meeting with the PSST to talk about diversions in public life. But they solve real problems. Generally, like this one.
And maybe spending 300 million to save land worth the 10 billion plus would.
And you couldn't find those resources. And you have a huge NTR. Because
we're going by the rules, by the book.
We believe
by
the rules of the book. That's why they are saying, is it conspiracy? Is it negligence? Who was the lawyer in this case?
Mr. has been handling the matter throughout.
Which matter?
You are the lawyer?
On this matter of Bukoto.
Yes.
Mr. Munyokol handled it first, then I came in to handle.
Are you a lawyer for LDC?
Yes, LDC. And I've handled this matter. Mr. Honorable Basaira questioned whether some of these guys are squatters there. No, they are not. We have the list of the squatters. It's here.
Can you hand over the list of the squatters? Can you lay it on table? The whole of that file you are going to lay on table.
All these are the squatters on
that
property.
I'm going to pass that list to an investigative agency of government.
No worries.
And find out. But the question is, why didn't you use the office of the Attorney General?
One, when you look at this piece of land, we first went to Ugandan Commission to have the engagement. They mentioned to us that land doesn't belong to us. That land belongs to LDC. By the time Mr. Othembi and the current directors came into office, this land was already encumbered. When you go where this land is located, where the roundabout in Chebando is, Mr. Chair, this land is not at Kabila. Where the roundabout of Chebando at the Express.
Okay?
Yes.
Describe for us.
When you slope past.
You know, you come down to Kabira.
Yes.
This other side.
The international school.
That is Kamocha.
Yes. Yes.
Okay?
So the slum down near the roundabout at Cheband at Express. Express, I mean at Northern Bypass.
Yes.
The roundabout at Chebando.
Yes.
The slum on your right when you're going to Kaleri.
On the side of Kabira or the opposite side?
On the side of Kabira.
Kabira International.
Where there is
International
a road.
School. Yes.
Where there is a road.
That goes up to Kamocha. That's where that land is.
But can you believe how prime that land is?
No, of recent, it has become prime.
No,
That
what I'm
land-
saying, just imagine, it touches Express Highway. Not so? Because if you are mentioning that road, and there is a slum there, it's...
Road. It is a road.
It is a road.
Not a road.
Is it in between the road and the express? Because there is a stretch there. Is that the one you are talking about?
Yes.
There is another road that goes to Kamocha. You know that is how it
That is-
is. So
that is the
sometimes
place.
I'm always there. So there is a stretch of land with the entire thing is makeshift structures. Have you known that land? As you go to Kamocha, there is nothing like there that is not demolishable. Absolutely. The whole thing is about small mud houses. A piece of land that has that strategic advantage for lack of 300 million. Really, isn't it a conspiracy? For one to buy it, and I think you know the buyer. And I want to imagine, you know, somebody who is willing to give you money today. And I'm assuring you, as a businessman, I would buy it with all its problems. Because that's a good deal.
No.
And I can assure you, aren't you in touch with the Sudil?
Chair.
Because the way you know Sudil, with his Kabira club and you having that thing near the road, he must be interested.
Chair, is some misinformation here.
No, I'm just speculating.
Yeah, because you are mentioning 300 million. Chair, I want to be clear and to go on record.
Yes.
The valuation that we did in 2019, the report is here. The land itself,
Isn't it an in-house conspiracy to quietly see off the sale of this land? Because you see, for so many years, even today, I've been sitting in the budget committee. I've never had somebody whisper. You see that number that is being built, the first track of Manemudini knows, that matter was not funded by government. When we got an embarrassment, the budget committee on its own decided to allocate 55 billion to start the renovation of Nambole. It wasn't in the ministry's budget. We did, because the matter was that urgent. You could even have petitioned the Speaker of Parliament for budget allocation. Do you have any evidence that you have petitioned the Minister of Finance to fund you? Show me any letter.
Chair, we can avail those letters. The communications are there between us and finance.
Yes.
Far to dispose of this property. And I think that is the direction they want to take. That is why they were not keen on following up on the compensation, getting money to compensate these people. Because the longer you take to evict squatters, the many more people come and settle on this land, and the more complex it becomes. So I think for me, that's what I'm reading. They mentioned it twice. Their decision is to dispose of.
Honorable colleagues, way forward. Way forward. Let's take a decision on how to proceed on this matter.
Chair.
Sometimes when we pick up, Honorable Sarah, when we pick up a matter of this value to an institution, even before we do our report, we can do a line and report to Parliament. Immediately, even this afternoon, and report to Parliament that in the interaction, there is this urgent matter where LDC is about to lose 5 acres of land in a prime area, and they're taking a decision to sell. We believe this decision is wrong. Put finance on the spot. Ensure there is a proactive. The committee is not just about post-mortem. We can be proactive on this. I don't think we are here to only say, lament, do a report, where the issue will be lost in a heap of a report. I think this is a standalone issue. I'm not around in Parliament. I can ask Honorable Basalirwa to raise this matter this afternoon, supported by Honorable Sala, Elijah Cooper, all of you.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, before we...
Including requesting Parliament, before we do, to set up an investigative committee.
Chair.
But which will cause problems.
Chair, in fact, I was...
Okay. Honorable colleagues,
show us that figure.
I have a proposal. Sometimes we need to take issues for who they are. Led by, and I want to do it tomorrow. Okay? We want to do it tomorrow. It's not a matter we are just going to leave like that. It's close to heart because so many of our relatives are stakeholders.
They chased away.
So can we work an arrangement and ensure that a committee tomorrow at 10 pays a visit to that site? And afterwards we shall continue with the discussion with you here. So I'm posing this committee to, let's be serious. We pose it.
Yes.
Sometimes we land on an issue and you solve it. We can go through here and other issues I know. But also there is another factor. Is that a great number of us, it's midday, we want to go to Chibuli.
Yes, but Chair, before we leave that point, there is the issue of